just turn off my freezing cold fan here. All right.
How's it going?
All is well here.
Thank you. Ben's away, so he's usually my lawn guy, but Ben's away for 10 days, so yeah. I had to have some other gentleman come and help me with the lawn.
Oh, absolutely. It's a must. Hold on.
Yeah, because I did not have time to do that. And he was out there for a long time. It took like 3 hours. But it looks great. Yeah, and this guy, he's so nice. He comes over from, I think he's from Haiti. He comes over every summer to work at the golf course, and then he picks up work kind of around town. So he was just here, and I'm like sending him with food. Chili, I'm like, do you want some? Because I know he's here by himself. Like, he's just sending, things home to his family, and he's just here, just a bachelor. So I'm like, take food. Like, you're probably eating, like, I know when Ben's away, he eats like terrible sandwiches and like garbage hot dogs on his own. So
yeah, absolutely. Whatever's easy and just grabbing.
Yeah. So I made some really nice chili this week with tons of vegetables from the farmer's market. And because, like with what I'm doing at the IVF, I'm just craving really like comforting and just grab and go kind of easy stuff, So on Sunday, I did a ton of I made a big pot of chili with like all these gorgeous like zucchini and eggplant and like purple peppers and like the onions I got from the farmer's market. Like they smelled like nothing I've ever smelled before. Like they were incredible. So that and the grass fed or like the prairie raised buffalo that I got. Oh my gosh, it came out so good. So I've been trying to give it to like everybody who I see. I'm like, try it.
How is the weather up there? It's pretty hot today. It's going to be hotter tomorrow.
Sweltering. Yeah. I love it though. I love the heat. So yeah.
Me too. I'm like, today trying to work outside on a bench on my computer instead of being in the air conditioning. I'm like, no, I need air conditioning.
I know, me too. I was out a little bit. Like I took a couple walks and like I went out to lunch with a girlfriend, which was nice. But it's so funny. We were expecting to go to this little Mexican restaurant that has great food, like really good, high quality stuff. And I was like looking forward to that, but it was closed. So we went to some like little shop and we got sandwiches and they were like, not great. And it's just funny. I haven't eaten like white bread and like, it was just, I got like, it came on like, it said like a French baguette, but it wasn't, it was like a sub roll. And I had some, and I've been feeling like terrible all day. Just like, ugh.
Oh. Which is too funny that you say that because it's exactly like where my head and thought is going for tonight is like you just segued like right into it. Having done the habit. So this is, I'm going to like tonight, I'll like talk a little bit and then we'll go into kind of an open discussion with you. And because it's recorded, everybody else who's on vacation and stuff, they'll be able to kind of go through the same kind of thought process that we're going to go through, which is before we have an awareness of our nervous system. Sorry, I'm looking out because when the window shines in, which is kind of another thing, you can see all kinds of things. So your awareness is what you choose or what you have been told, like telling your body to be aware of. You can be oblivious to so many things outside and inside your body. So it's funny, I just looked out and the sun is shining and I have a little bouquet of flowers and this most intricate, tiny little spider web has just like formed itself across between two of the flowers. So things, so just really, it's actually pretty. I know it's a spider web, but it's really pretty.
Yeah, so, it'll catch the bad bugs that come in and try to bite you. So
yes. So as we have chosen in our life path to become aware or chosen to live a life more aware of our inside and our outside, as we call it, like our macrocosm and our microcosm, which lives within us, we're doing these skills that are actually heightening this process for us on every level. So as we go through the habits and as we make our way through, we get deeper and deeper into these levels of awareness. which are our mind, our body, our spirit, the connection between, as we went through the 5 koshas, the 5 layers of the body. You're teaching yourself through this, and probably through other things going through life. Some people are just more intuitive by nature. Some people are just more knowing by nature because they want to. You come across people that really think we're out of our mind. Like,
Yeah.
No. If they can make food in a bag and make it easy and it could stay on your shelf, that's so good for you. Like, they just think, we're way out there in this holistic approach and functional medicine and all this, which we're going to get into. So with that knowledge, kind of like begins and begs more knowledge. It's a constant of, I want to know more, I want to do more, or I want more awareness. So as we go through the habits, just doing little tiny things, as we've learned, little tiny steps, we're seeing progress, we're seeing things change. We're morphing, we're seeing that from the very beginning, the what we wanted and the why and that future self, we're creating that. Like, we are turning your God-given, constitution is one way, and that will take you through life, but there are different ways to use it once you know what it is, as we're learning. So there's different ways to capitalize on your earth element, your fire element, your air, your ether, and your fire. So there's different ways to go through to actually use all these. And once you understand them, that awareness to everything gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So there is, it was really funny on a call the other night. And I had never seen this movie. So if you've seen it, you're going to connect to it immediately. So as we know, Pitta is fight. So we have fight, flight, and freeze. So it used to be fight or flight, but within the more in-depth figure into it, out in nature and within the human race, it's really fight, flight, and freeze. And you can equate that to the 3 doshas as well. So fight is Pitta, flight is Vata, freeze is Kapha. So when you think of it, it really demonstrates characteristics within our human body, within our koshas, within all of this awareness. And so someone brought up in class the other day a Disney movie that I hadn't ever seen, Inside Out. I
haven't seen that one yet. No, I hear that's so cute.
Now that we are really aware of that difference, so I guess there is sadness, joy, and fear, which are anger. No, what are the exact? Now I'm gonna have to Google it real fast. It's driving me crazy. So within those characters are really the characters of Ayurveda. It's the characteristics of the body, which is really, really pretty cool. So here it just tells us Pixar, just because so I know there's sadness, joy, and then the other is, what would the other one be? Sadness, joy, and anger, something like that. But it's not that, it's a cute word. I'll figure it out in a minute. I won't spend time. So within this, we have the nervous system playing its role back and forth within the body constantly. So depending on what we want to do, there's a reaction, or there is a planned reaction. There is a response. As we know, we can respond to something or we can react to it. Reaction is usually lesser of an outcome than we want. The response is a chosen response. Everybody says like, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, my nervous system. But we truly, as we're learning, the more we get into the habits, the more we are responding by our own choice to situations. But the nervous system plays this enormous role on everything that happens between our health, as we know, our gut, our microbiome. I mean, everything now is playing into people. All of this is coming aware, even in, science is coming aware of this now. So, I have a quote in here too. Stephen Hawking, the brilliant scientist. There's one basic rule of the universe: nothing is perfect. So as we go through the awareness of the fight, flight, and the freeze, it's usually a response to our nervous system on how we're reacting to things. So we have trauma in our life, which when you hear trauma, you think severe. something severe happened to this person to have trauma, but it's really not that. It doesn't have to be that that gigantic of a situation. Anything that really disturbs the mind, the body, or the consciousness on a real recognizable level is trauma to that portion of the body. So whether it's something extremely psychological, or you cut your arm off in an accident, like those are extreme. But something that gets into your system, say something simple enough to where it makes you truly in a depressive state, like something happened like COVID. So we're just coming into another round of COVID or whatever this might turn into, and the body reacts to it. That is trauma to the body, because it's altering the state of the body. But as we learn to live these habits, our toolbox is so expansive now, as we know, we're going through. So habits are teaching the body, the mind, and the consciousness, which is the awareness. We have that ability to be aware. So traumas, being now even on the lighter scale, are coming in at us probably more so now than before, because we're having this COVID, we're having to deal with things. We're still having to deal with work. We're still having to deal with relationships. Sometimes the relationships are closer now. Sometimes they're, which could be traumatic. Like it's really disturbing some marriages. They never had that. Or it's the complete opposite. It's separating people. People are getting sick, which is physical. People are getting emotional. So all this is a mild case of trauma to the body. So as we are lucky enough to keep the body in rhythm and keep our energies and be aware of our our small little ecosystems that we live in, and we have in mind that there's this huge macrocosm and we're the microcosm, and we can feed it back and forth because we're aware, because we're almost, like you want to say, we're enlightened to an extent, because we have chosen to take this path. We've chosen to be in this light. So through trauma, the science or psychotherapy sessions, psychiatrists and all, they teach, which is now coming more and more popular, that there's three different, the nervous system can be broken down into three different systems that actually are an awareness in the body. So we have, let me pull up maybe I can share this with you. We have propioceptors, okay, perception, which is awareness of your, almost like your balance of the awareness of your body, where it is right now in space, in platform, in like where you are. So you're in a yoga pose. You're aware of where your nose is, where your body is, and as you choose to be more aware of that, your nervous system becomes more in tune. So let me pull up, maybe I can share this one. Excuse me, let me turn that off. Miranda is, excuse me, I'm gonna get us both on. Miranda?
Yes.
You want to say hello to your cousin Ashley? We are,
Hi.
we have our call right now.
Oh, I thought it started at 7.
Well, we did it early because it's just Ash and I.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
You can jump on the call or I'll call you back.
I was just showing you that I finished the vinyl that I did for that girl's business.
I love it. Let me call you after.
Okay. Love you. Have fun.
Thanks. Bye. Sorry, I couldn't turn it off. It was ringing on my iPad too. Ashley, I lost your mic.
I was coughing a little bit, so I muted.
Okay,
I
good.
forgot. There we go. I'm back.
Okay. Let me pull this. So propioception is, again, it's that awareness. It's where our body is, our muscle, our skin, our joints. It's the connection between the brain and the nervous system, like that. Without sight, the body still kind of knows where it is. Vision plays a key role in this to keep our balance and keep us going. So this is part of the nervous system connection to us in space. And then we have the Nuroception, which describes the neural circuits between our brain and whether we're safe or something's dangerous. So an example they give is a baby, as it knows its caretaker or whoever it's with, will like make noises and coo. It's like, and be happy as it did when you had Savannah. But if a stranger comes in or something, the baby will cry. It senses, it doesn't know why, but it senses it's not familiar with that. It's strange. It's something out of its awareness. It's not aware of that exact presence. So our body, our nervous system, the neural circuits in our brain have this ability, like if you walk into a room or something and you immediately fear or sense some kind of a fear, this is the Nuroception, they're calling it. It's in this ability to be aware of you're either safe or there's danger. So the animals and all have it in wild as well. And then we have the Interoception, which is the sense of the internal sense of your body, which is what I want you and I to go more into tonight as a laser. So your awareness of your actual like stability on the ground, your space is, that is probably at your age and all, that is very attuned. And then the Nuroception, as you're more aware, most people are aware of danger or fight, but the body has its ability again to go into that fight, flight, or freeze. So as we stay in our habits, if we learn, we're almost transforming our nervous system to understand all three of these systems, to be aware of them and cope and deal with them. And especially in a time of trauma, which could be something as, you know, depending on your if you have been exposed to COVID or not, but just the whole situation of what COVID is giving us right now, or you within your, you know, situation, the mind almost, say you didn't come through and do the course and all that, you could have been spinning kind of out there going through what you're going through, because it's a really hard thing, and it's a really thing to stay grounded and stay within and stay true to yourself. It's very difficult to do what you're doing. And it takes a person like you to be able to go through it the way that you're going through it. So this interoception is what I want you to go in, because it's conscious and non-conscious. So it's actually the capability of seeing oneself. So to be able to see yourself in this way, but you physically can kind of like feel your organs. I want you to start to actually feel the inside of your body, which is really, really attuned. So I'm extremely attuned to my inside organs. I can physically feel them now, just 3 years of practice. Katie is getting very, very aware, having dealing what she's doing. So with you, I really want you to start thinking of this. So it's called interoception. And for you to be aware of physical changes in your body, and you can be in this heightened awareness of it, which is going to feed your nervous system, but it's going to feed it on a healthy way, because you are aware that things are changing, but you're going to embrace it. You're going to feed your nervous system these good senses of what's changing in your body, rather than letting science keep it in their hands. It's not in their hands. They're assisting you. It's in your hands. It's in the person's ability to shift the body, or just be aware of it in that comforting, in that positive, and knowing that you have this ability to actually cultivate something within yourself. We all do. Remember back on, you know, epigenetics and things, you're changing the inside. So when we look towards that future, or we want to change something within us, or this future self, or this future physical self, or mental self, or whatever it is, when you attach that actual feeling, that emotion to that desire, when you physically feel it like you felt it that one time, that's what changes the physical chemistry in the body. That the nervous system helps, it assists that. So as you feel things happening within your body, you can cultivate them. You can feel a feeling. You can attach a feeling, an emotion to that. And as you really feel, as they're really finding out now, more and more and more, they're backing it up again, that sense of gratitude for like anything, for it, or for physically changes like genes in your body. Like it actually can change. So like when you go into, now functional medicine is getting on that, food, like pharmacy, physicians, all, they know disease exists. They know that our bodies can be fixed through surgeries and different things, and that the body can be altered in all this way. But they really aren't taught, they really don't know that food is true medicine, that food assists and does, if you have this piece of food, so food can either, it can hurt your body or it can help your body. It can feed an organ or it can destroy an organ. So we all have like cancer cells in our body. If we do certain things, we could feed the cancer cells. If we do certain things, we can kill the cancer cells or not let them mutate. As things begin to break down your body, that's, cancer turns into mutated, already in us cancer cells. So what I wanted to go through with you on this and kind of get more into it was these feelings, this interoception of being aware of changes in your body. So even while you're going through it, you might physically feel your hips hurt. You might physically feel as you're going through like the different shots and things. Okay, maybe that site on your arm or something that might physically hurt. But if these certain drugs and things are there to help us, you can, in your mind, channel things through to where they're supposed to be going. You can feel it go through, you can assist, you can feel a shift in something. Say it's supposed to develop tissue. Say it's supposed to get something ready for tissue development. You can assist that with your nervous system staying calm, with your nervous system staying direct. Again, being aware of your physical, place on the earth, like in this, gravity and kind of, and then again, the neurons being safe. You want to feel more of that safety and security. And women in general have more of a connection in their brain to security and safety. And men have more of that, like the hunter-gatherer, that like expedition and that, that excitement, that thrill to go change, or that fight to go, protect their nest kind of a thing. So women, as you equate more of that safety, you want to keep your nest secure. So, but you also want to be in that nest safe and secure. So as you, as you keep yourself within these systems and these beliefs, the physical part of the body changes with it. It's
I can see how that happens. And I'm feeling that already. Because the gratitude thing for me has been so key, because I think I'm naturally a glass half full person, but it's hard when you're going through all this stuff. And so to remind myself, be intentional about gratitude, and just to quickly switch my brain, like you and I were kind of laughing about this, having like a house full of people, and like my house is a mess and everything's everywhere. And I'm like, I'm just so fortunate that everything was used and borrowed and touched in a mess, because I have beautiful family that did all those things. And what would I want? Some perfect house with nobody in it. And same thing, like I was, I went for blood work this week, and I had to go a lot this week, and it gets really grating because it's a drive, and then you're there and it hurts, and then your veins get tired, and it's a lot. But I was kind of feeling emotional, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really lucky that I get to do this. Like, I'm so fortunate that I live here and that the clinic's an hour away. Some people have to move here for 4 months and do this kind of stuff. And some people have to mortgage their house, and I tried to change my mind quickly from that, like, I think this hurts, I hate it, I'm upset, to like, no, I'm just really lucky to be here. This sucks for a second, but I'm leaving that in the past. Like that little hurt, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm going to focus on what's coming. And I definitely would not have done that before our course. I would have just kept picking that suitcase up and carrying it with me, even just throughout the day. Whereas I'm like, yeah, that hurt a little, but I'm really lucky that I had such a good nurse. It didn't hurt that much. And, and it's just that quick mind shift. Like, it's unbelievable how much it's like my anxiety just went away.
Yes. Exactly what you're doing is exactly what's going to help you. And which is not going to disturb the body in any kind of that, like even slight trauma way. That mind shift of, that's an old story. That story's not coming. This is the new, only the forward motion is going to serve me right now. So this is where I'm going to be, and this is where I want to go. And so I see the change in you, and I see the change in everyone that has had a specific, like whatever our what is and why, the going through the habits, keeping the body grounded and stable is what works. Keeping it in rhythm, like no abrupt changes, the craziness that really, really disturbs the nervous system. As we know, the nervous system can shut the body down, it can shut the mind down, the emotions, or it can keep all the channels going. You want all those srotas, you want all those channels moving with energy. And especially you, remember, you want to keep the lower 3 chakras open. You want to feel grounded and rooted. You want the sacral nice and open and juicy. Remember, keep feeding those juicy fruits, the oils, like everything that's available right now, and some cucumbers and zucchinis that you're doing. Like all of these things to feed the body that liquidity, that real nourishment, different teas, nice cucumber waters, things like that. There's a whole bunch
it
of
is so unbelievable, like how smart, and I know you said this before many times, but it's really hitting me lately. Like when you actually give your body a chance to think for itself and be smart, like how intuitive our bodies are. Like it's so random. Like I was at the farmer's market, I was walking around, like, I really want beets. I never eat beets. Can't even tell you. Maybe if there's a beet salad, someone gave it to me, sure, I'd eat it. I was like, no, I really need beets. And I like made a ton and I cooked them and I ate them and they were amazing. It was like just the craziest thing I just wanted. And I'm like, I wonder what's in them that makes them like why I want this. And I Googled it. And it's like all these micronutrients that are incredibly helpful for fertility, folate, fiber. It like does something to your blood vessels that like makes blood flow, which is exactly what I need for my like uterine health. And I'm like, you're a genius, body. How did you know this? But it just like, it knew that food was just going to like serve me so well right now. I didn't even think about it. It just was the coolest moment to feel that,
That is amazing. And you have come to a heightened awareness. You're aware of your body now, more aware than I'm a physical machine that can run high, jump, mountains, do whatever. Like you're physically aware of what it's telling you.
Yeah.
Where in the past, sometimes we're more focused on going to work, getting that done, finishing a spreadsheet, doing whatever, and then, eating a pork roll, egg, and cheese at our desk, like something.
Yeah. Or just whatever the diet of the day is, you know what I mean? Just like whatever the cool hip diet, oh, I have to have high protein. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do like, no, some days, like I really want meat and some days I don't. And some days I want beets, like, and actually just like letting my body tell me what it needs versus like whatever the fad of the month is like so cool. Like I cringe now when I hear someone being like, oh, I need to lose weight. I'm this. And like, I'm just going to go no carbs. I'm like,
right.
It breaks my heart. Like it kills me. And there's like, I'm just going to cut out all carbs. I'm like, no, don't do that to yourself. Like join me, please.
Yes. I do the same thing. I'll hear, or I'll see someone, grabbing something, doing something. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Someone,
I'm like, oh.
Someone at work who even knows much better had made this great dinner and then had a little bit for leftover and walked over to the microwave and put it in. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, where else am I going to heat it up? I go, not there. Put it out in the sun for 20 minutes. It's hot out. I said, don't put it in there. I said, all that work you did last night, you have real foods like from the garden, whatever in there, and you're going to microwave it. You just killed everything. Like you shouldn't even eat it now. Throw it in the garbage. Like there's nothing left of it. Once you, now it's ringing again.
That's a good thing to know though, because I don't really always think of that. I don't think that I've known that.
Yes. It's, I can't even turn this off. I have no idea why my iPad is ringing now because my phone's not ringing and my computer's not ringing. So I don't know what that is. So if the way that the microwave, the actual waves go through the food to heat it from the center out, it kills all prana. There's like no prana left in your food. It heated it up. It did that, but there's like no life force left in it. So heating water, although water.
That's so good to know. I hate the microwave.
Yes.
I do use it sometimes. So now I know I can just put it in a quick pan. I mean, it's just as easy.
Yeah. And literally now that it's hot, like say she had gone to work, whatever, if she had taken her food and like put it out in the sun for 20 minutes and waited, it was, it would have baked a little. So
Yeah, that's so funny. Great tip. I always learn something new every single time we talk. Like, even like a little tidbit like that. I'm like,
yes.
that.
Yeah, it completely destroys the prana. So it heats it, and science will kind of argue that like it'll take the food down a level in nutrient value and all that. It definitely does. Like they believe in that. But if you, as we do in Ayurveda, like you can physically measure it, like under the vibration of it under a microscope, the prana in live food compared to, of course, processed foods and prepared foods. But when you microwave a food, it literally takes the prana right out of it.
Wow. Good to
So,
know.
like, you can heat up coffee in it or heat up a little bit of something like
Yeah.
something like that.
But my nice farmer's market stew, I don't want to put that in there. I got to put that in a pan. Now I know.
Take a pan out for a minute and just, take that extra 10 minutes to heat it up. You do not want to microwave it. So things like that are also feeding. So like for you, there are many, many, many foods that you could add to your diet that help. So it was funny that that masterclass I took the other night, the workshop, they were going through different things as food is medicine and blah, blah, blah. And someone asked the question, like, what would you give an examples of really good food or good diets somewhere in the world compared to bad diets? And he's like, all right, so everyone knows, but why is it that the so-called Mediterranean diet is an example of a very good diet? Like, why do these people, some of them smoke cigarettes and they, drink alcohol and all this, but they physically look so healthy. They live longer, some of them. And of course, it's because most of them are physically active every day. They usually are very happy in their communities. They're very small, like little old fashioned, cities or, little villages and things. And the amount of omega-3s, the fatty acids, the fatty oils that they eat, different things like that feed the body naturally. And a lot of times the Mediterranean diet, which is like very lean meats or fish, more oils, real fruits and vegetables generally is the real diet. So it's not so much a diet, it's a way of life, but it's the kinds of food they choose to eat. It's usually not packaged and processed and all that.
Yeah.
And then they were saying one, and he said, and then there's another diet that really is harming to the body on the average. And he said, it's the Southern diet, the United States, the Western culture, the Southern diet of all the fried foods and the synthetic oils that go into the fryer. So anything that came in with prana and was wrapped up and fried or deep fried, and like, it's just too much of the, say, oil to oil. The Mediterranean diet is feeding every cell of the body. The Southern diet is harming the body on every level. So it was funny. I was like, since Katie moved down there and different things, and I would go down to visit and see generally like big gatherings and things, what the normal diet was. I was like, ooh, this is okay. Like, say for me, twice a year to come down and eat a little bit, it tastes good. It's okay. But as this is your norm, the habits of, say, of a group or a family or something that eat more of that, the body is really, really in either diseased states or is in ill health. So we look at what we have available to us. So what's going to feed you and help you are more of the omega-3s, the fatties, they're really good, And then we have a lot of, right now, blackberries, extremely, like, say, if you would have a big bucket list, you could have kiwis have an amazing amount of antioxidants in them. Apricots.
I just bought kiwis after you told me that. I didn't know that kiwis were great. And when you were texting me the other day, I went to the store. I didn't have any. I don't know if we grow them around here. I didn't see any at the farmer's market. I don't think they grow around here, but
most don't.
I did get some at Whole Foods organic, at least.
Yes, they if you can get organic, because there are growers, but usually not around by us. And then dried fruits, believe it or not, if you're in a very vata state, you kind of don't want to eat the dried fruits because it is drying. So the dried fruits, though, generally speaking, because of the dehydrated state of them, if they're with the skin on them, the skins have so much of that nutrient and those antioxidants and things within the skin that you get more if you eat the dry fruits. But broccolis, your fermented foods, blackberries are huge. Dark chocolate, very, very good for you in small amounts, but like 75, 80, like the high, not, a milk chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And
those are the best. You have to make those stuffed dates the stuffed dates. They're so easy and they're like delightful. Like I look forward to having one every night. It's like just those dates and then a little bit of almond butter inside, stuffed inside, and then drizzle a little bit of that like really high quality dark chocolate on top. Like just melt a plain no sugar chocolate and freeze them. And you bite into it, it tastes like a caramel because like the date gets kind of like a different consistency. Oh my gosh. Fantastic.
So is it just the date itself? Like you split open the date?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds amazing. I just made date, a tiny bit of cacao powder, walnuts, because I have a ton of oil in them. And when you put them in the blender, the oil really comes out, and flaxseed. And I had from my farmer's market a date, and they split it open and they stuffed it with goat cheese mixed with honey and a whole bunch of chopped walnuts on top.
That sounds amazing.
Like eating the most delicious dessert, and it was packed with nutrients. Like really, really.
I love that.
So that
was I'm like obsessed with dates now. I never used to eat them, and now and Finn loves them too. I'll take them out and he'll just like eat them by the handful.
I eat so many dates. I constantly eat dates. I always eat.
Yeah.
So we have thinking of that course the other day too. So we have 5 health defense systems. We have our the angiogenesis, which is our blood vessels, which, as we know, keeping all of the channels clean is going to bring clean nutrients, food, our blood plasma, everything is within the blood vessels. So keeping them clean, keeping our cardiac. So eating all of these different vegetables and fruits and the super fruits, like I said, the apricots, the kiwis, blueberries, apples, broccoli, all fermented foods. The list goes on. Brussels sprouts, whole foods, like real whole foods are all this like super turmeric, lots of like turmeric and ginger, different things for the, spices and in the system. And then we have stem cells, which within our blood, our bone marrow, but it's also in our skin and in our lungs, the stem cells. So stem cells, certain foods feed the stem cells, which actually rejuvenate tissue. So you can spend like tons of money. People are actually getting stem cell injections and things into, but there's certain foods that carry certain things. And then we have our microbiome. That's another defense for the body, like everything in the gut health. DNA, actually our DNA is the information that can like clean up or help, destroy a pathogen or like so our DNA. And then again, our immune system, which is super important to keep. And as we know, the food, our emotions, everything that goes on in our body, the last system to get fed is the immune system. So we have to keep all those layers going before we can actually get to the immune system, which in Western medicine, we're so used to just taking constant supplements and things to feed our immune system because they believe it kind of goes right to it. But each one, if you physically think of it, you go even back to like 5th grade biology, each system, like your blood cells, like the blood goes through, and once the blood pumps through the system, then it goes and it feeds your fat, then it feeds like all these different layers, and then it feeds your, your muscle, your fat, your bone marrow. Like if you think of the processes, then you do know that it takes all these systems to break down all those foods to actually feed the body.
Yeah.
All the way through to get to the immune system. So yes, having all these supplements helps, but it's not, the pathways all have to be clean to get through. So eating more healthy on a daily basis, eating these foods seasonally, like eating out of season, just that alone can really disturb the body because it can be too hard on the body, too light on the body, too hot on the body, too cold on the body, whatever it might be out of season can disturb the body. And as we know, we want to keep these channels open and going. That's why, seasonal eating also important.
Yeah. Something that is interesting that I was kind of dealing with today, and I was reminding myself again of some of the things that you were telling me. And this, you know me so well, so you know my personality. I struggle when I stumble in my own mind, right?
Mhm.
But I had such a great moment today because, you know, I've been doing all these great things. I'm feeding my body. I feel like for months I've been treating myself so well. And it's funny, like today, I went to lunch with a girlfriend, kind of got off course. Like I knew that I could go to this restaurant that had really good source food and I was gonna be happy to eat there. And then we got sidetracked and had to go to this other place. And I got something that I thought would be kind of healthier than it was. I was hungry and I ate it. And then I kind of felt like garbage. But I was having that moment of like, oh my God, why did I eat that? That was terrible. I should. And I'm like, no, stop. You had a nice afternoon with your girlfriend. It's a little bit of bread, a little, whatever. It's not perfect, but you're fine. Relax, body. Like we're good. Like you're okay. Stop. And I immediately put the kibosh on it. Whereas
Yes.
like I would have obsessed about that meal for 2 days and
Yeah.
been like, okay, I need to go home and go for a run. I need to eat like just lettuce for dinner, like of this craziness that I would have
Which would have
gone
done
through.
worse for your body than saying, you know
Yeah.
what? So what? My body's so strong, it can handle that. And I had so
Yeah.
much fun and enjoyment with my friend
Yeah.
that
And I
it
just was so
digested
happy to
just
have
fine.
that.
The
Yeah. And that
body's so
community and that
brilliant.
sense of like, oh my gosh, but it's so cool. I wouldn't have felt that way before. I would have been very like, it's very all or nothing. And I would have been way
Yes.
too harsh on myself. And it would have been, but I felt it happening. And I'm like, no, stop. Like we're out and about. Like, who knows when lockdown is going to hit? You're having a great time with your girlfriend. Just
Yes.
enjoy being here and stop. And then it was
And
like a really freeing feeling. And I felt my anxiety in my stomach just like go away. Like this tightness
yes,
in my stomach I had
yes,
just went away. It was
it's
so cool.
exactly
So I had a
what
couple of awesome moments this week.
that's amazing because you are responding exactly how you're teaching. So it'll come more and more normal to you to say that, like, wherever you girls want to go, I don't care. I'll eat wherever. It's okay.
Mhm.
Because your
Yeah.
normal is so good and so healthy that your body's going to be like, no worries, I got this.
Yeah,
Enjoy yourself. Like,
totally. It was
and
such a cool feeling. It was
it really
awesome.
is because it immediately relaxes. So
Yeah.
type A, as they used to call it, personalities, or that real pitta to have
Mhm.
to, constantly, succeed, and A pluses and A pluses. So what I try to teach a lot of too is the body, the brain, the mind, the consciousness, the person as a whole that embraces a solid B minus all the time really has better health.
I love
Right.
that.
Because the ebbs and the flow and what it does to your body as that A plus is so constant and can be so disturbing and can be eczema, can be migraines, can be excess weight, can be underweight, can be constipation, can be diarrhea. That solid B minus of knowing that you are achieving at this level, but it's a confident level and it's okay to be here and performing at that level consistently, then kind of the ebb and flows of that, because it's disturbing to constantly achieve for, those A pluses all the time and then hit a tiny bit of a failure and then you crash.
Yeah.
It's a super ebb and flow. And that solid B minus also gives you that ability to enjoy little extra pieces of life.
Yeah.
Or extra pieces of other emotional relationships with people or something, rather than that disturbing constant, no, I have to, no, I have to, no, I have to. And
Totally.
so going through life, like your home life is not always going to be an A plus. Your marriage is not always going to be an A plus. Your house, as you had it last weekend with all the guests in there, it wasn't pretty much an A plus, and ability, like once now, like having children, life is not always going to be an A plus anymore. It's gonna, if you strive for that solid B minus, you're going to be so much more grounded and so
I
much
love
ahead of
that.
the curve
Yeah.
that it really is, it gives you a freedom to choose better paths, even to choose better things and actually keep the body more calm. And it's usually stronger because it has more of an ability to be aware, because it's not so harshly focused and so harsh, on your body. There's another direction I was thinking in too, when people either have like that AAA plus kind of a personality, or the people who are just the opposite. They almost fake that everything is perfect, everything is great, everything. They call it toxic positivity. Can be so disturbing to the body when you pretend to be so positive and stuff all the time and everything is great. Inside, you could be ripping things apart emotionally, physically, psychologically. You have to be able to have, again, those solid B minuses to say, no, today is not going 100%, but that's okay, because what I have the ability to do, I'm going to do solid. I'm going to do okay. But maybe you have to share with someone like you did the other day. I had a breakdown for a second. I had, I need an emotional bond for a minute. You know what?
Yeah.
Because right now I'm not perfect. It's, I'm not perfect. Perfect is really hard, and it's really hard on the body. But that toxic positivity is like, oh yes. So people think you're one way, and it's not the right way to be either, because then you almost have that barrier. You don't let people in and out. Humans need to respond back and forth. And that's another one that is, especially with social media and things, people are portraying this toxic positivity that everything is wonderful, and watch, ching, selfie, look where I am, look what I'm doing, everything's great. They may have lost their job that day, or they might have had something, but they want to prove that everything is perfect. It's really disturbing to the body as a whole. Like that's not living life in real terms.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting what you said about the like humans need to come in and out and like lean on each other and lean back. Cause it's funny. I often felt like I had to be the strong one, and I had to look out for everybody. But through this whole process of IVF, like I've had to really lean on my friends and family and like be vulnerable and lean on people. And I think it's nice because people know that they're not always just leaning on me. Like they'd like to be able to help me and hold me up,
Yes.
Like one of my girlfriends who I called when I had that like really tough morning a couple days ago, she called me often, and she has 2 little girls, and she's a stay-at-home mom, and it's COVID, and she's just like, God, today sucks. Like, I really need to talk to you. And it was so nice that I could just be like calling her, and she was strong, and she had good advice, and she lifted me up. And it's just so nice to have that back and forth, of being able to lean on each other.
And that's what's going to keep the body balanced, allowing that to happen, allowing, as humans, allowing us to have recognition that I had a kind of bad day today, but that's all right, because tomorrow I'm not carrying that tomorrow with me. That stays yesterday. And today I'm going to have, but as I went through it yesterday, as it's going and it's happening, I have people to, I have people to lean on. I have people to correspond with back and forth that are going to help me. And that relieves that pressure, that spanda. Spanda is this in and out pulsation. We have to have that in life. Our breath is spanda. It's a pulsation of in and out. Our heartbeat is in and out. Our emotions work better when they're in and out. If you hold them in, it's damaging. When you give, it's damaging. So everything in life is spanda. Like you want to feel that pulsation, and you want to feel it in relationships. You want to feel it in your body. Like every organ has a pulsation.
It's a really cool thing to think about.
So within what you're doing and what you're asking your body to kind of achieve and go through, your awareness is here compared to what it was like before. And you're allowing these things to happen with like real joy, real joy, not the world tells me I should be doing this. Ashley wants this. Like Ashley wants this in her heart. Ben wants this for Ashley and themselves so it's becoming a different, it's a different vibration now than it was in my
no, for sure. Definitely. It 100% is.
And when you bring that joy into it, it's a whole different level. So that, interoception, feeling inside, being aware of physicalness of what's going on inside is amazing. So foods are going to heal, emotions, having that ability to go back and forth, having that spanda of everything in your life, that solid B minus, like certain things, being able to now lean on people when you need to. And then, it's okay. I mean, I generally speaking in that kind of that rock in the, one of the rocks in the family, but I know who I can lean on and who I choose, absolutely. I have to lean on people sometimes, and I know who, and you have to get that out of your system. You have to have an out.
Yeah.
And then you're there for people again. Then you're there to be, because everybody has their little place within the little ecosystems of your world.
Mhm.
And knowing that there's people there for you, you can be there for them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, any questions or I know this was a nice, back and forth. And one thing, when did I write that down? Right in my notes, maybe, or in the there's 5 steps in healing. It's just a little thing I came across the other day. So the body is always healing. Healing doesn't mean it has to be something from trauma. It doesn't have to be, I have a disease or I just got sick or whatever. It's healing from, as you said, like a bad day. It's healing from a work situation, a relationship. So it's constantly trying to heal itself. Homeostasis is always trying to stay in balance. And there are 5 steps. So energy flows from subtle to gross. So you feel energy vibrating in your body and it makes its way out. Healing comes from the outside in. It's more of a gross to subtle. So the 5 steps in healing, I found these really pretty cool. So there's awareness, self-awareness. So the first step is being aware in your body that something needs to be healed, that something is happening. And then there's self-acceptance. So accepting that there's something that needs to be addressed, something that needs to heal, whether gigantic or tiny. And then self-regulation. So you want to experiment with different things, taking courses of action. So, and then efficiency, challenge yourself, like challenge certain things that are working or not working, or within the healing process, don't always stick with one thing or don't always stick with what you're told. Challenge things to address you and your situation. And then number 5 is self-trust. Trust in yourself that the healing processes that you're taking and these 5 steps to awareness are what's right for you. So, and don't always trust in a physician or a mentor or some kind of a psychiatrist or whatever it may be that you're going to for help. Trust yourself, like that inner wisdom, that inner judgment. Your body is now intuitively telling you what it needs.
Yeah.
The 5th stage is having true trust in yourself.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was just something I came across the other day reading.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a cool thing to think about.
Yeah. So
I'm definitely going to share that.
So it's self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-regulation by trying and experimenting, self-efficiency, challenging yourself, and then self-trust.
Yeah. Could you send me a picture, like a screenshot of that?
Yes.
On your cake? Because I'm looking around, I'm like, there's no pen and paper anywhere because I don't have that anymore. And I don't know where my iPad is. So
yes, I will send
Thank
that
you.
to you.
I love that.
All right. Any closing thoughts? You had wonderful wins this week. You had like great things. You had great recoveries from things that could have been disastrous. Another person could have taken that into full blown, I need a week by myself with my head under the pillow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I felt very fortunate for you and for what the wisdom I've gained and for just like the calm that it brings me this week, because it's leading up to, I'm doing an embryo transfer next week, and leading up to it, there's so much uncertainty and but I'm like, it's going to be what it's going to be. And all I can do is what I can control. And then the rest of it's just going to be, and I'll deal with whatever it is, and I have just such a sense of peace now. And it's really funny too. Actually, I got in a little bit of a tiff with my husband and from some of our discussions around like pitta versus his vata and things. Like he actually texted me and was like, sometimes you just need to vent, you need to get it out. And I just need to like step back for a minute. And it was really funny, that interaction, that it's actually like bleeding into our relationship. It was such a cool, I don't know. I just love when I have weeks like this when things just click and it's little things that add up to just a different person, like that different person that I'm trying to become. And it was cool. So yeah.
That's amazing. It's so great when you start to feel a reflection, something's coming back at you from something that you put out there, and things like people are around you are beginning to become aware of what you're becoming aware of.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even know it, and they even choose the right words that reflect what you are like trying to get out there.
Yeah,
So
that definitely
from,
happened.
so from now into like next week, when you do that, I want you to try to already feel it happening. So like the embryo transplant already is there and it already has happened. So when you get there, it's almost like a deja vu. It
Gotcha.
already, so it's already there, and you've given it so much love and nurturing and such a warm spot to be already. Like your sacral chakra, you can even pull up, there are millions of like, you know how I told you each chakra has its own vibrational music at the center.
Yeah.
So you can even pull them up on YouTube and listen
cool.
to a sacral chakra sound. And next week,
Okay.
I think Dana is going to give us another round of the yin and the sound.
That was so amazing.
Yeah. So I
I
have to
loved
find
that
out.
so much. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
I love that. What day everybody's available or not, because you can do next week or the week after.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yes, those are, and the 16th, when is the 16th? I have to, she has a beautiful healing circle, and I think it's available on Zoom too, I'm pretty sure. And it's this really amazing, so you do the sound bowls, but it's this whole healing circle, like within, it's not just women either. So it's this beautiful energy exchange. And
That'd be
it's
so
really
cool.
neat.
I would love to try that.
All right.
Yeah, keep me posted.
She sent me in Instagram the actual link to sign up for it. So I'll share that with you.
Oh, cool. I would like to follow her on Instagram too. If you think of it, you can send me her
Yes,
page. That'd
I
be
will do
awesome.
that.
And you know what, Aunt Deb, I have like one question. I sent you an email because I was I woke up in the middle of the night thinking of this last night. I didn't want to text you and wake you up. I was curious about my ashwagandha and my shatavari. It seems like the shatavari seems like pretty okay for pregnancy, but then it was saying the ashwagandha can have some abortive effect, but it was like in rats in like high doses. So they were like, some people say that it's totally fine to have a small amount, but I just was curious I wasn't sure if you felt comfortable commenting or if we should like talk to like one of the herbal doctors or something. Cause I love the way it makes me feel. Like I feel great with both.
It's such an adaptogen. I don't know if that is a case, but I'll send my doctor a text.
That'd be
And
great.
see what she thinks, because I think from what I've been told that it actually is good for fertility.
Yeah. I've heard that as well. It's just like, you Google things just to be cautious. And it's like, but again, this is like lab rats being fed massive amounts and you know what I'm saying? So it's very different than the way I'm taking it. And I'm only taking like a half a teaspoon in tea and I feel comfortable with it, but I just want to triple check, because I love the way the ashwagandha and the shatavari make me feel. Like I feel very calm and grounded when I'm taking it. So I would love to know that in the next couple of days. That'd be really, really helpful.
The shatavari is very, very good for all things female, everything.
Yeah.
So, but I will find out. I'll text Dr. Nina. And
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
awesome.
an important
one.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I had never heard that, but I'll find out. I'll find out right away.
Yeah, thanks. That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're the best.
Absolutely. This was a great call. Very, we covered like all the things that I kind of wanted to go through. All right. You have a
thank you. And thanks for keeping me so grounded.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I just keep feeling it. It already happened. It already is.
Definitely. Yeah. I've been thinking about that when I'm meditating. it's kind of crazy, but I had like some sound bowl music playing, like just on Spotify when I'm meditating. I'm trying to meditate every morning. I don't do it every day yet, but I'm trying to build in the habit. And I'm like literally closing my eyes and like picturing like the cells dividing and like things happening. Like I'm just like picturing it happening.
Yes.
And it's really cool. It's like kind of like I feel like I'm out of my head sometimes. I'm just like floating somewhere. It's really cool.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yes. And actually you can feel the tissue in so remember too, that pitta is it's hard and it's sharp and it's hot and it's fiery. So you want to bring in more of that kapha, which is softer and cuddly and warm and cozy. So you want that embryo rather, to actually, you're creating this softness in there that it just wants to lay in, and it just
I love that.
So that hardness can kind of, put aside for a little bit. We can
Yeah.
tuck that away for a tiny bit.
Definitely. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I loved our session today.
I did too. It was beautiful, as
Yeah.
you are. So
Thank you.
you're welcome, honey. You have a good night.
You
And
too.
I look forward to speaking to you again. Hopefully I'll send you this recording. So just in case you want to listen to it again, and I'm going to send you Dana's stuff right away.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Talk to you
You're
later.
welcome.
Bye.
All right. Bye, honey. Love you.